What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the HTM Buddy Build of the U.S.S. Reliant. I'm Jordan with Line of the Stars.
And I'm Ken with Ken's Hobby Bench.
And we are marching headlong. We are getting closer and closer and closer towards the end. I'm starting to do a little catch up as well, which is great. I was getting a little worried that you were getting far ahead of me, but it seems like I'm doing a pretty good job of getting caught up. That said, like, you got more wiring inside than I have on the desk. But
you are
yes.
doing an amazing job at catching up, Jordan. I've noticed that on Discord over the past few days.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things where, just all of the models that I'm building, like, it gets a little much, but I don't know. I was inspired, and getting a lot of this done, like a lot of electronics work. There's a lot of work. Like, I think I want to count the amount of LEDs that we're going to wind up putting in this thing by the end, and I think we're going to be really shocked, actually, at how many lighting components that we put through. And my biggest concern right now, I have to be honest, is like, if I'm going to put the Arduino in the base, how am I going to get all of that through such a small hole? I'm starting to really think about that. But anyway, that's a topic for another episode, and I started to stress myself out there. On that note, so we're another week in. Yes. What's that? What do you got there?
The wire wrapping wire is probably what I'll use when it comes to running it down the pole, as opposed to something like this wire. Much thinner.
Yeah, so I use the 30 gauge. Is that wire wrapping wire 30 gauge, or is it higher?
I think it's 30 gauge wire, but it doesn't have much of a coating on it in comparison to what's on something like this stuff.
So you're thinking about that's like that. Is that like a magnet wire?
No, it's not. This actually does have a coating which you can strip off with, say, like your fingernail. Just kind of like,
is it plastic?
Sort of. Yeah, it's a plastic coating.
Okay.
So if my fingernails were working today, I'd be able to show you. But
okay.
Anyway, yeah.
Interesting.
So wire wrapping wire. It's I believe it's a 30 gauge.
Okay.
And it's just, like I said, just a really thin coating in comparison to something like this stuff here.
Yeah. I use a 30 gauge, so these are the wires that I use. Yep. And I wonder, I mean, these are pretty thin, and there's very little material on the outside of it. So I'm curious, because, like, I don't know, I've had to kind of give up on a couple of ideas for, like, sequencing the lights and all that jazz. And because, like, I'm like, how many control wires can I run up and down that conduit? And so you've given me something to think about, actually. If not that, then maybe even, like, why. So is that so to just totally go off thought, is that a 28 gauge wire on the left side there?
No, I believe these are both 30 gauge.
Interesting.
So,
wow. Is that a silicone wrapped 30 gauge?
Yes. You know what? You're right. It is a 28 gauge.
It is a 28. Okay.
But still, you can see the difference in width is quite a bit.
Yeah. No, that's very interesting. Like, that is something to really think about. Because I really, really don't want to put the Arduino inside of the model itself.
No, yeah, exactly. The other thing I'm thinking too, I may end up going with a slightly larger hole, which I would probably keep this edge of it and then come out more this way and into this area if possible. Which you don't really notice on the bottom, but in here you got more of a buildup of a solid piece for it to be at. So that's my thought.
Okay. Yeah, there's also that as well, like probably just going up to the next size of brass tube.
Yeah. And making sure you have a thin wall brass tube as opposed to a thicker walled brass tube.
Right.
Or aluminum tube.
Yeah, something to think about. Wow, it's kind of every time we do this, I'm like, oh crap. Ken's already thinking ahead right now.
Yeah, trying to problem solve. That's the thing though. When you get the time off, you start to think maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah, well, that's good though. I mean, I don't have the time off, so I'm definitely taking inspiration from you. So on that front, taking inspiration from you, what can I steal from you that you've done this week?
Well, actually, what I did last week was,
Right.
which is going to tie into what I need to do, is I put my light box in here, and I did put some words on the screen or some text on the screen saying that I had to remove the light box because you need to put the clear piece in first. So I know we talked about this earlier before we started recording, but I figure I'll mention it now for the people at home. I'm going to take some sponge, sanding sponge here. I think this one's from Tamiya. And because the clear part is just a hair bigger, and I mean that like literally not more than like a hair, it seems like. I should be able to just come in here and just gently start spinning this until it's going to fit.
Nice.
I don't want to come in there with something um, aggressive because that's just going to take out way too much material too fast. And with all this
Mhm.
beautiful detail that's been put in here by Will, you're not going to recover if if you take out too much. There's nothing
No,
you
even
can do to put that detail back in.
no, a panel etching tool wouldn't even work. Like it's so fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this week I'm burning in my light here for the bottom, so it's a 3mm LED that's going to be sticking through there. I did have to make the hole a little bit larger, so I took a round file that I have, and I just basically drove it in there all the way, constantly sanding until I got it in all the way so that I could have this protrude, or actually it doesn't even really protrude, but to come out on the bottom.
Nice.
The flashing. So, and then I'm also just started, and I'll probably continue working on is color coding and running the lights for all my running lights. So I've gone with them as being white and black and white positive, black negative. And then right now I'm also trying to tie in all my other negatives that I can to all my other negatives to make it like a common negative.
Yeah.
Except for my cob lights. So that's mostly what I'm going to be working on this week is trying to tidy up this big spaghetti dinner into something a little bit more manageable.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah,
Well, from a recording perspective, I still have yet to release the episode, but in the episode that's coming out, I've done the first phase of getting all the second phase of lighting into the saucer. I got my RCS thruster flickering LEDs put in place. And then I have also gone through and what I'm waiting to do is get my all of my running lights basically put in the bottom. So that's going to be kind of what's going to be happening in that episode. And then for this episode, finishing up the running lights on the top, getting light blocked for the top of the saucer, getting the light boxes installed, and basically finishing up majority of the lighting, with the exception of the planetary sensor and then the bridge and A and B deck, which will be the final, basically a little bit of lighting besides the two little lights on top of the running bars. And so, yeah, I've learned. I was scared as soon as I saw the 0402 SMD chips in their raw form without anything on them. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to solder on that? Like, you've got to be kidding me. So I put on the biggest, like, highest power magnification that I can. And as crazy as it is to say, I was able to successfully solder my wires onto 0402 SMDs and do so in such a way that was actually I was able to quickly do it at the end. Like I grew in confidence. Like I did not. do opposite colors, so I didn't do a positive and a negative color because I wasn't sure how to differentiate which is the positive and the negative side, but there's definitely a positive and a negative side, right?
Right.
And so what I did was just solder them up and then test them out, and then as soon as I found the positive side, then I went ahead and just put in the resistor at the end of it. I was like, it took like 2 hours to do all these, but like if I had excuse me, if I had my skills that I had built by the end of that earlier on, like it probably would have only taken me about 30-35 minutes in order to do all the work. Because I got pretty quick. So I'm fairly confident now actually in how to do 0402 SMDs. And this little pack that Todd had encouraged us to buy, um, this thing is amazing. So there's something like what? There's 50 each of each size. So 0402s,
Wow.
0603s, 0805s, and 1206s. And there's 50 each of red, yellow, blue, green, white, and orange of all those different sizes. And so those chips are that size. Little white things in there. I was able to solder a negative and a positive lead onto it successfully, and it scared the crap out of me, but I did
That's some
it.
amazing work. I look at the pre-wired ones I have here, and I can only imagine the level of steady handedness you would need to do that. It's
So I can tell
incredible.
you this. So the OmniFixo was not the solution here, as crazy as it is to say that.
Really?
What I found was I used the corner of my little vise here. You can
Yeah.
see some of the flux kind of burnt into the corner of there.
Oh
Um,
yes.
I I stuck the chip in and then
Hmm.
very carefully cinched it down, and then dropped my flux on it, and then just quickly dropped a bead of solder, and then put the wire on it, flipped it around, did the same thing, and then tested it, found the positive, and went from there.
That's
So
that's incredible.
super easy. Like it's just this little vise, and once again, the beauty of this vise, and the Todd father sent this to me, and this is on Hobbyist Haven, I believe is what it is.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic tool. It's got a photo etch bender here on the bottom with the cinch down and up. It's a vise, not fractal. It'd be nice if it was a fractal vise, but it does have the little fingers up top. But then the cool part is if you loosen it up, it's on a gimbal.
That's a cool tool. Definitely.
So what I was doing was I had it held like this, and then went in and then turned it around and had it looking at me, and so then I would solder, and it just worked beautifully. So um
Were
if
you
when in go
were
ahead.
you doing optical, like as in something over your own eyes, or were you zoomed in with your camera?
So I used my magnifiers
Oh, okay, yeah,
with an LED. Whoop. So yeah.
nice.
Um and this is the highest magnification one. I think it's the 5x if I'm not mistaken, is what I used. So yeah, it was I needed every bit of every little bit of help I could get to see it. And there's just the tiniest little pad on either side of the thing. And so like it's just you just kind of got to trust it and don't do it for too long. Like I popped one by getting it too hot. I heard it snap. It was just it was a learning process, but
Yeah.
this is a game changer for me. I much prefer SMDs for lighting. Um, they're less obtrusive. The 3 millimeters can be a little bit difficult, and I've got an idea for a scratch build that I want to take to Wonderfest next year. Something small, compact that I can like assemble in place, and SMDs are going to be required for that. So this was a great learning experience, not just for this model, but for kind of just being a modeler in general. Um, I Even if you're scared to try it, I recommend to anybody who's interested, if you want to get your soldering skills up, try something difficult like this. I feel like I'm a better solderer now than I was before I started this process. And I do have to say, I mentioned this on the HTM stream on Sunday, but get yourself a good solder, number one, and find your ratio. So I like the 6337. I don't get any cold solders with these. I don't get any cold connections. Um, so everything is like, it just, this stuff works really, really well. This is only like $7 on Amazon, what have you, but get yourself a good solder. I didn't realize I was using cheap crap until I started using this, and it makes all the difference in the world. So yeah, that's
Right on.
my little thing. So yeah.
For lights up here, you're going to be doing the lights up here as well in the
Yep.
corner.
Yep.
Do you know what color you're going with?
So I'm gonna match up. So the one difference that I'm going to be going, and like I've been like studying the intro that Todd has sent us. I don't know how many times I've watched that clip in slow-mo and what have you. I think it's be a lot because of the shooting model, but I am going to be going with this color. So for all of my flashers and all of my running lights, except for the spotlights, anything that's a spotlight, so the spotlights that are on the bottom of the nacelles, I'm going to keep those warm. But all of my running lights, I'm going to be doing cool white. So that's
So
kind of
we're going cool white up there. Okay. Because
yeah,
my other suggestion was get a hold of Will and see what color he was going with.
yeah. No, I know. I thought about that as well, and I've kind of gone back and forth a little bit. Um, but just kind of knowing it, because like the thing I also notice is that like all of the there's the lights on the saucer, all the formation and the nav lights, they all blink at the same time, and then the flashers on the top of the bridge and on the top of the roll bar, they both flash at a different interval, and so and those are bright white,
Right.
and I'm kind of looking to keep all of that the same. That's at least for me, at least in my head. Like the way I see Starfleet ships, like those lights should be bright white, not warm white. Um, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with it. And I had to really think about it for a second because I didn't have any warm white SMDs. I only have warm white 0602s, and those would have been fine.
Yeah,
So I
I have some warm whites that I might try.
yeah. So yeah, kind of what my thought is like I want to try to stick as close to like movie like I want this to be as realistic as possible from what we saw in the movie, but I also want to make it, I don't know, at least in my mind, the way I want to go with it. I'm not going to be satisfied if I know that these running lights should actually be bright white and I made them the other color. Um,
Yeah.
So, and that's just the modern Star Trek fan in me. So I know that all Starfleet ships do it that way, and so that's where my nerd brain is going a little bit. So I don't know. We'll see. I still have time. Now you got me thinking about it, Ken. Damn it.
But I think that means then you need to delete a couple windows. In Will's video, he mentions there's, I think it was
Two
down
windows down
here.
below. The two
Yeah.
windows that are down below on the lowest level down there, on
Yeah.
right underneath that angled part. Yep.
So,
Yep. No, I know.
yeah.
So I got to go back and do my like bless Will for doing all the research. He does the Todd work. Like he's doing to this model what Todd does to his part works, right? And so yeah, I'm kind of like, okay. I trust what we'll have to say, and so I need to go back and actually watch some of these videos again to check on that. But yeah, now you got me thinking. We'll see how I go. They're already done, so we'll see.
Well, this has been a lengthy intro, and
It
thanks, ladies
has
and gentlemen, for watching.
indeed. Well, look forward to seeing what you get done this week, and I can't wait to copy it.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing your progress as well.
All right, my friend. Well, good luck, and see you at the bench.
See you at the bench. Hi there, welcome back to the hobby bench. So what I'm doing now is I got in my warm white 3mm LEDs from Amazon. So that's good. And what I did is I cleared out the hole here. I had to sand it just a little bit with a tapered sanding file here. And then that took it to exactly 3mm. Now I bent this at a 90-degree angle. This LED with its wires, for lack of a better word, because I'm not an electrician. And what I've done now, I've put a 220 ohm resistor on there to kind of match the brightness with some of the other lights I have going around. And I'm going to use black and white wires for my navigation lights. That way I know which ones are my nav's lights. So I'm going to go around right now. I'll kind of hook this one up to this, and then I'm going to go around and the rest of my saucer here, and I'll redo the wiring on these so that they all have black and white, and I'll kind of start to bring as much stuff as I can over to the hole where the pole is going to be, that's going to lead down to the base. Now what may end up happening is they may end up needing to do a bigger hole, so I'm going to kind of bring things into the neighborhood and then just kind of stop them in that area. So for now, that's what I'm doing, and I'll come back and first off, when I'm done doing this little navigation light for on the bottom here, I'll come back and show you that in place, and then we'll come back after that and show you hopefully some neatened up wires. So give me a minute and I'll be right back. All right, so there we have it. That's going to be our navigation light, I guess, for better wording, because it's going to be flashing in sync with the navigation lights. So that's going to be it there down in this spot here. Again, I did 220 resistor. I didn't want to do too powerful, I didn't want the light to be too powerful, too over bright. So that's what I went with. Now, like I said, I'm going to start neatening up these wires best I can, getting them ready to be in position for this light here, and kind of having them color coded and making sure everything's going to make sense for when it comes time to start closing this up. So I'm gonna let you see a little bit of that. I think I'll speed it up and put in some music. Alright, so I'm gonna get started here, and I'm gonna leave this warm white uninstalled for now so that it can burn in for 24 hours. Or as close to 24 hours as I'm happy with. So let's start getting the rest of these wires done up. All right, now you can see that I've neatened up my wires here. There's still a few to be shortened, but for now, I think it's in a good condition. So for a lot of these, it's on common ground. And for I have a blue here and a yellow coming off here for the impulse engine because I want them to be isolated and separate. The cob LED will also have a separate because because of its power source. The whites coming off are for my navigation lights. Yeah, and all that will be tied together kind of in this area and sent down into the, oh, sorry for hitting the camera there, will be sent down into the pole here and then into the stand. So I haven't tried this yet, and this one white just keeps coming off, but let's get this little piece here as well, and we will attach it to see, make sure this power is also working. Now I don't want to connect it completely, just enough that it'll light up. We'll try to connect these to power, and we'll see how well I did or did not do. So give me a second here to get my wires. So I got my negatives here. Did I miss any? I think I got them all. And then my positives here. So there we go. Okay, so we do have our lights down here, so that is working. Our cob's working. We have our flashing, our flickering lights up here for our RCS thrusters. We have our reds and our greens for our nav lights. We have our light down here for our nav light. Now let's try and flip this over. You can see our window lights are all lit up. And we have our red and our green down here as well. So there's our white there. So everything's looking really good. I think I'm happy. Everything's lit up on the back as well. So I think neatening this up has really done well. It is very time consuming. This is taking me hours. I've had to re-resistor stuff. I had the wires on this navigation light break completely right down to the light buried in there, so I had to drill it out and install a new one. Yeah, so it's been it's been quite an ordeal, but I'm happy it's over now. I'm just gonna disconnect these, and yeah, so these lights or these wires will be shortened, but they're also going to be on their own, going down. I'll use wire wrapping wire, like Jordan and I were talking about. It's thinner, but I'm also going to match the colors best I can with, like for example, blue here for any of these lights. So what I'm going to have to do next is carry on doing the same thing up here. As bad as this looks, it's not as bad. I think most of it stems from the center here, and then our navigation lights, I think, is what our main issue is here. A lot of these other ones here are already done up, so this shouldn't take as many hours as it took for the bottom side, but I'll get to work on that, and hopefully I'll be able to come back and show you what that looks like. All right, so what we have here is the top saucer here. Now it doesn't look like it's that well laid out, but to me it is. I'm leaving all the wires here longer because I'm going to need to attach them and then sandwich both halves of the ship together. So what we have here is like all the red lights on the bridge. We have the other lights coming off of there. We have our Raytheon lights. We have our, this one here is the positive for the navigation lights. Here's all the other common positives. Let's see here. We have all the common negatives. We have the other lights coming off the rear of the ship with the flashers, the strobe light on top. So you can kind of see it's starting to come together. So the next thing I want to do now is I want to sand this out and try to get that crystal to fit a little bit better. So let me get set up for that, and we'll get that done. So here we have our impulse crystal, and for it to fit, we're going to have to open this hole a little bit more. So we're going to have to fit this in all the way so that it fits in properly, and then we can put our light box under there. But before we even do that, we'll get it fitted. Then once we know it'll fit, we'll keep it unattached, and then we'll mask and paint it using our painting masks at some point. Obviously, before we close up the hull. But in order to get it to fit properly, we don't want to overdo it and wreck our detail here. So what I had talked about was this is just some sanding sponge. I believe this is from Tamiya, and I'm not sure what grit it is. And all I'm going to be doing is just putting it in this hole, like that, just rolling it up and put it in the hole, and then just slowly work at it. I mean, if I want to, I could put something in there to maybe put a little extra pressure in there as we spin this. Let's see what else I have. Oh. Anyway, that's what we're going to keep doing anyway. We're going to keep doing this and checking it occasionally to see if we've made it into a proper fit. Now, I don't know if you can see, it's still a little proud. It's not sitting flush. So we still have a little work to do. So I'm going to keep working on that, and I'll come back and hopefully we'll have it ready to go. All right, so here we go. I have been sanding this down for about 5 minutes, just rounding off the sanding sponge here and just inserting it and just giving it a light spin like that. I found really nothing would be worth putting in here, as it would just slide around on the sponge. But we can take our part now and insert it in the bottom, and it stays on its own. As you can see here, we have a nice flush fit on the inside. No issues. I don't even really have to force it in there. It just fits in there nicely. Looking really good. So I'm happy with that. So what I can do now is I can pop that out, put it aside. When it comes time to start painting, and before I close this up, I'll go ahead and I will mask this up and paint it. So I'll put that aside, back in the box with all the other parts. Now, the next thing I want to do before I end this video is come back to the bottom saucer. Let's actually go ahead and remove this. Here we go. And I'll put that in the box as well for safekeeping. Now, the windows that I need to get rid of for the accuracy are actually, I guess Jordan and I were talking. I was thinking it was these two, but no, it's these two round ones right here and here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by taking a little CA glue here and injecting it in there and letting that sit for the next week. And then I can come back later with putties and stuff like that. If I try to put putty in there right now, when it shrinks, it's just gonna shrink in there, and good chance it could fall on the inside, and then it's stuck in there. So I'm not gonna do that. So what I'll do is I will grab my masking tape, and I will grab my CA glue, and I will grab a toothpick. And yes, beware the toothpick. because it hurts going in your toe. So I'll take that. My CA glue. I'm actually surprised. Usually these bottles, you don't get to use as much out of them as you would like. Usually they die before that. But I've been lucky so far. There we go. All right, let me just take a little bit of this. And we'll just start plugging this up. Looks like I'm gonna have to also go in with a Q-tip to clean up the outside. And a Q-tip and a little isopropyl alcohol, I think, will do a nice job. I guess you could also come in with some baking soda. I don't really think it's necessary. Basically, I'm just trying to fill in as much of the hole as I can, so that way when I do come in with my filler, that it's got something like as a backing to hold that filler in place, and that way it won't fall inside, you know, so, or even, you know, be pushed inside while you're sanding is another thing that could happen. Okay, so I'll just some isopropyl alcohol here. It's gonna eat away at my paint a little bit, but that's fine because we'll be coming back. All right, there we go. Now if I want to, I could come in with a little zip kicker, just like that, just to speed that up. Anything also that's over top, you can still sand it as well. CA glue is sandable, so something you don't have to worry about. There we go. So that's those two windows now, and they'll be covered up and painted over. I guess technically I could have used like a Black Widow black CA would have worked too for as far as light blocking goes, but I think once we get putty over it, it's not going to be an issue. So that's going to do it for this episode. So what you've seen me do is go ahead and reorganize my lighting so it's not as much of a mess. Some of these are still a little bit on the longer side. Some of them because I want to send down the pole. Some of them because I, you know, still got to wait to bring in my other lights. So I think that's going to be on the next episode. We'll be putting some holes in the sides here and bringing in my lights here, and then also putting the other lights I'm going to need to put on my roll bar. So I'll worry about that in the next episode. So thanks again for watching. I'd like to say thanks to Cass over here at Lake Monster Details for supplying us with these parts, and thanks to Will over at the Instance Chair. Check him out as well. I mention him every episode. Awesome build videos. I've been watching him for years. I love his stuff. If you haven't checked him out yet, I don't know why not, because I keep mentioning him all the time. And also don't forget to go check out Jordan at Aligning the Stars. See what he's got done this week as well. So thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Damn it. You just got me laughing. Sorry.
That happens.
Cooking one up. All right. Game face.